कन्या प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you everyone. Thank you for this opportunity, and I really seek all of your blessings so that the right words come out at the right time, in the right consciousness, in the glorification of their lordships, Lord Karunanitai Gaurachandra, and to give pleasure to Srila Prabhupada and to the heart of all the devotees assembled here and who are listening to us virtually. So today we are going to discuss a very special topic. How many of you have heard of the term Upanishads? Okay. So one of the Upanishads is the Ishopanishad. We already have it on the screen. So this is the invocation mantra, which is the introduction to the Ishopanishad. There are 18 verses to the Ishopanishad, and this is the invocation mantra. So today we are going to meditate on this. We are going to discuss this mantra from what Srila Prabhupada has given us. We will try to understand the essence of the Ishopanishad and this mantra in particular. So before going into the mantra in detail, let's understand what are the Upanishads. So if we decode the word Upanishad, it actually means to sit at the feet of your Guru and to understand the science of Isha, that is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what the Upanishads primarily do is they establish the concept of the Supreme Absolute Truth, or who is the Supreme Lord, Ishwar, the Supreme Controller. This concept is primarily established in the Upanishads. So the Upanishads are like a fundamental base or a platform based on which we can discuss about bhakti, we can know about the ultimate platform being devotional service. But what is that fundamental? What is that platform to start with? That is the Ishopanishads. So it says that the Supreme Controller exists, who is Ishwar, and he has a form. What are his different attributes and aspects, and then eventually how do we realize him, how do we reach him? So how this conversation is going to be for the next, I think, 40 minutes or so. It is going to be a little bit different than usually, how we listen to the Bhagavad Gita translations or discuss the purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam, because the purpose of the Upanishads were a little bit different. They were meant to be enigmatic. They were meant to have a certain amount of mystique built into them. Because during that time when the Upanishads were written, they were meant to be written, targeted for the intellectuals, who can discuss about these subjects, who can stretch their intellectual capacity discussing about the Supreme Absolute Truth. But the goal is very similar. The goal is the Supreme Absolute Truth. The goal ultimately is bhakti. So we can look at the Upanishads as a transitional body of knowledge which takes people from the platform of Karma Kanda, I will explain what that is, to the platform of bhakti. So Karma Kanda is basically the ritualistic platform of the Vedas, where you can worship certain deities who are assigned specific powers, specific capabilities to grant you material achievements. Or even you can worship God for material achievements. That is the Karma Kanda process, also part of the Vedas. But that's not the goal of the Vedas. The ultimate goal is bhakti. So Upanishads basically nudge us to think from matter to spirit. Okay? So Ishopanishad is primarily that base that brings us to Bhagavan. And how Bhagavan is presented here, again, very enigmatic, very abstract way in which he is explained, but Prabhupada makes it much easier for us to understand. And ultimately, what is the goal? To understand God, to understand his opulences, his qualities, how he looks, what are his different attributes. That is the ultimate goal. That is what bhakti gives us. But throughout the interpretation of the Upanishads in the purport, you will see Prabhupada most of the time stresses on the terms the absolute truth or the supreme truth, right? Even in one place it says the family of the Parabrahman. Now this is a little bit paradoxical because Parabrahman is kind of a very, could be interpreted as a impersonalist concept, but the moment you're saying family of Parabrahman, this is a little bit, could be confusing, but I'm telling you, when Prabhupada has done this, there's a purpose to it. Because the impersonalists, they talk about the Supreme Lord having no qualities, no manifestations, just a clear flow of consciousness. But that is not the goal of the Upanishad. So what Prabhupada has done is, he has taken this terminology, certain terminology of impersonalism, and actually showed how they can lead you to achieving and understanding the actual conclusion, which is a personal realization of the Supreme Absolute Truth. So for example, you are looking at me right now. So there are three elements present in this room. You are the subject of consciousness. You are the conscious being. Okay? I am the object of consciousness at this point. Okay? And there is a stream of consciousness that is flowing between us. So in totality, with these three elements, there is an experience of consciousness that is being created. But according to the impersonalists, the one and the three do not exist. That is, you don't exist, I don't exist, only this stream of consciousness exists. Of course, that's not a very sensible idea to delve on, right? To delve into. So, what Prabhupada does is basically, as I mentioned, he helps us understand that personal realization of God. So now we are going to read the verse. So I'm going to read it once and then let's repeat it together. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Can you repeat? So the translation says, the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as the phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. I told you it's going to be a little complicated. So you see in the same paragraph, there are so many times Purnam, Purnat, and then it's like complete whole, perfection, complete. So it's going to, I'll try to make it a little interesting in alignment to what Prabhupada has tried to convey. Just consider this example, even before we get into the detail of the purport. Let's say there is a very wealthy family who are materially very wealthy, and the parents are also very loving and caring. So the kids are, taken care of. They do not lack anything basically. They have all the toys, they have the food, everything to be happy, and also parents are giving them the emotional happiness also. But what if the kid just comes and says, I'm still unhappy, I want that particular toy. Just try to understand. The kid has everything to be happy. But then, there are certain things we sometimes want which is beyond our quota or which is beyond what is being given to us or being approved to us. Think about these points. We will try to link it with the purport of what is the actual goal of this verse. So for example, if you look at it this way, in the entire world, actually there is no shortage of anything. It is complete. Because technically this world is manifested from the complete whole. That is, the perfect, complete being. So we are complete. There is actually nothing that is incomplete. When we talk about food shortage, land shortage, it's all actually, artificial imposition on us. Because somewhere, someone, us, somebody in the system is looking at things from the perspective of our own greed, trying to look at things from what is beyond our prescribed quota. Of course, if you do that, you will be unhappy. Because you have been given facilities to make you complete, to make you whole, to make you feel happy. So there is a concept of understanding purpose, okay? And also in this age of social media, you see, we are looking for completeness in so many things. We look for completeness in, watching others' profiles and going through reels and all. So there is this need, this urge to find a sense of completeness. We'll come into it in details. So, again coming to the example of the kid is supposed to be very happy. Now if the kid just goes and puts his hand in the fire and screams that, my hand is burning, what is happening here? So the kid was never meant to go into the fire, touch it and get that experience. It was outside of that prescribed thing that was given to the kid. But look at the intelligent design of the Lord. The moment the kid puts his hand in the fire, he gets that alarm, his senses react, he screams pain. That means even that sense of security is also built in. So the world, to conclude, is completely perfect. If we live in it, understanding our complete purpose, then we can live happily and we can exit. That's all. In the 15th chapter, Krishna says, 15.12, Krishna says basically, the splendor of the sun which dissipates the darkness of this whole world comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire are also from me. So basically in this chapter, Krishna says that, I have provided everything. The sun, the moon, the light that is needed, the digestive fire in your body, everything I provided. So basically there is nothing lacking in his design. So we are going to look at this translation now from the concept of infinity. Okay? If I take 5 out of 10, what remains is 5. But if I take infinity out of infinity, what remains is infinity, right? So, consider, we'll take a mathematical analogy. Consider the set of natural numbers. The entire set of natural numbers, it is infinite. Consider the set of all odd numbers. It is also infinite. The set of all prime numbers, that is also infinite. But we see there are levels of infinity. Like 1, which is the set of all natural numbers, that is relatively a bigger set of infinity, within which there are these different infinite sets of odd numbers, prime numbers, even numbers, etc. So that is exactly what is explained in this verse, that the Supreme Lord is infinite, but his level of infinity is different from those infinite beings or those infinite units that are being extracted or created out of him. But in essence, he is also infinite, and these different components coming out of him, these fragments out of him, they are also infinite. Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayak, that is what is referred to as Lord Vishnu. That several millions, billions, trillions of universes are emanating from his body and then dissolving back in him, but he still remains complete. Okay? Now, we are going to analyze the purpose. We will see Prabhupada has basically played with the words perfect and complete because it is very crucial for us to understand the purpose of this verse. So in essence, what the purport says is, this world and the spiritual world both are complete. If this world is complete, then why are we dissatisfied? Because there is a certain lack of right consciousness. That is why we are dissatisfied. So what do we have to do? And what happens if we don't do that? So this is what the purport basically entails. We can divide the purport technically into 5 parts. Number 1, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Absolute Truth. The Absolute Truth has many manifestations. Bhagavan is the ultimate manifestation of the Absolute Truth. That is the complete manifestation of the Absolute Truth. Number 2, this material world is perfectly complete. Number 3, the human form offers us complete facility. Number 4, sense gratification gives us illusory completeness. And number 5, devotional service gives us complete and real completeness. So you see the word complete and completeness is there in all these points basically. So we are going to talk about the concept of completeness first, which is very succinctly explained by Prabhupada. Think of it this way, the Absolute Truth. So we will refer to him as the Absolute Truth, okay? The Absolute Truth has 3 features. when you are at the Brahman platform, then you see his Sat feature. Okay, that is what the Jnanis perceive. The Sat feature means the eternal feature of the absolute truth, but it's not the complete absolute truth yet. So the Jnanis, they realize that this world is temporary. We have a certain longing of eternal existence, which means that there should be an arena of existence which is beyond this material world, and that arena is eternal, and that is where I belong. That is why I'm getting this longing. So this is Brahman realization, which means that there is something beyond this world which is eternal, and there is a higher reality. I accept that. So this is the Sat aspect of the Lord, the eternal aspect of the supreme absolute truth. Number two, as the transcendentalist gradually evolves on his path of transcendence, his path of understanding, he realizes the Paramatma aspect of the Lord. That is the Sat and the Chit aspect of the Lord. Which means as we progress further, we see that this absolute truth is not only eternal, but also is conscious. But when we realize this, then it becomes our object of meditation, our object of contemplation, but still not the object of devotion, still not the object of loving exchange of relationship. That's the ultimate goal. I'll give a very simple example after I complete the third aspect. So the third aspect, or the complete realization of the supreme absolute truth, is Sat Chit Anand, which is the Bhagavan realization of God, where he has all the six opulences, where the devotee perceives the absolute truth not only as eternal, as conscious, but also as the source and destination of all joy, all loving exchanges. There is a beautiful reciprocation with the devotee. And this revelation only comes to a devotee, not to one who contemplates, not to a jnani, but to a devotee. Okay? So only at this platform we understand the Naam, Roop, Gun and Leelas of the Lord. That is a completeness of the Lord. I will, divert a little sweet diversion. I'm sure you will all like it. So just to understand that this supreme absolute truth, all these big words, these philosophical words that we are talking about, is about whom? It's ultimately about Krishna, right? But when, from a devotee point of view, you look at Krishna, then basically he is your object of love. And that is the bhav in Vrindavan. Okay? So there is a poet in Vrindavan who is very famous. His name is Ras Khan. He's a Muslim devotee of Lord Krishna who wrote beautiful poems of Krishna. So there is a very beautiful poem where he says, Shesha Ganesha Mahesha Dinesha Suresa Hujahi Nirantara Gave Jahi Anadi Ananta Akhanda Acheda Abheda Subeda Batave Narad Se Sukh Vyasa Rahe Pachihari Tu Puni Par Na Pave Tahi Ahir Ki Chohadiya Chachia Bhadi Chach Pada Nach Nachave. So here, it sounds very simple, it sounds very poetic, okay, but actually it's very deep. It means that this supreme absolute truth that you're talking about, Shesha, Ganesh, Mahesh, Dinesh means all the entities in this universe, Lord Shiva, Ganesh, everybody is bowing down for a dust of his lotus feet. All the great sages like Narad and everybody is just, for one vision of the Lord. Yogis are spending like days and nights and years and millions of years of contemplation. And this Supreme Lord can be bound by the ropes of love in Vrindavan. Ahir is the community of the cowherd girls. So, they used to make Krishna dance at Krishna. Can you dance? If you dance, I'll give you this buttermilk. Krishna used to say, can you please give me that buttermilk? Then this last line, Tahi Ahir ki chohariya, means Krishna, dance 5 more minutes, I will give you the buttermilk. So you see, this is the exchange. Because they have realized God in his complete aspect. There is pure exchange of love and bhakti where even God surrenders his godhood. So I was telling you, right, the Ishopanishad is a fundamental for bhakti. So that was our little teaser on bhakti, okay? Now we will get back into the deeper concept of the Ishopanishad. So, coming back to what we were discussing is that Sat Chitanand or the Parabrahman or the Supreme Lord is always Sat Chitanand. But depending on our level of perceiving, we see certain aspects of him. Depending how advanced we are, what is our level of surrender, we can see what is our level of realization. We can either see him as Sat, or we can see him as Sat Chit, or we can see him as Sat Chitanand in the most optimum form. I'll give you an example of a gulab jamun or any sweet you would like to think of. The sweet has faculties of aroma, which you can smell, the faculties of sight. You can look at the sweet, it can appeal to your tactile senses, you can touch it, it has a certain texture, a certain shape, a certain color, and then you can taste it. So all three aspects of aroma, sight, and taste are simultaneously present in the gulab jamun. But if the gulab jamun is cooked in the kitchen, will you be able to experience all of this? No, you will just get the aroma first. So that's like the sat aspect of the Lord. You are just seeing the aroma of the gulab jamun. Does it mean that the gulab jamun doesn't have taste, doesn't have a shape? If you go a little closer, you can actually see that the aroma is coming from this little ball of sweet. And you can see it, you can touch it. But when will your complete realization of that sweet happen? When you actually take it, touch it, smell it, and put it in your mouth, then the completeness of that sweet is what you feel. So this is what is the goal of a seeker. So a seeker has not come to complete realization without having come to the Bhagavan realization. Okay? It is just like you smell, you see, you pick up the gulab jamun, but the ultimate goal is to eat the gulab jamun and to experience it in completeness. And this realization in Krishna consciousness is offered to only a devotee. Okay. So this was our first point. We divided the purport into 5 points. So what was the first point? What was the first point? That the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the complete absolute truth. Okay, so we discussed the different aspects of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We discussed what is the absolute truth, what are the levels of perceiving the absolute truth, and what is the highest level. The highest level is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The next one was the statement that this material world is complete. I mean, of course, it is created by the potency of the Lord who is complete, so it has to be complete. So there is no extraneous effort that is needed to maintain it. When the right time is there, it will also be annihilated. This is all part of an intelligent design. But then people may think, if we have everything, why are we still struggling, Again, the example of the child, recollecting it, that even after providing everything, if the child says, that is that one toy I want, that is make me happy. So it's an illusory need. Or if you are, not happy because you say, I want that Tesla, that is what is going to make me happy. These are illusory needs, right? So, we are talking about intelligent design. Now, for example, you look at a toy car which moves on its own. So it has been designed in a way that it moves on its own, moves automatically. But something is automatic doesn't mean that there is no operator or no designer behind it, right? It just means that there is no direct and continuous intervention from the designer that is needed, which actually proves not the lack of designer or not the lack of design, but that it is an extremely powerful and extremely intelligent design where minimum level of intervention is needed from the designer. Okay? But looking from the perspective of that child, it's like, the car is moving on its own. Oh my God. But that's not the fact. There is a design. It has been designed to be automated in a certain way. So the Lord made the world in this way. He made our biology in this way. Our bodies in this way, nature in this way, that there is nothing extraneous that is needed. There is no intervention that is needed. It is self-sustaining. For example, how the clouds are formed. People can just say, it's nature. But come on, it's a very, very difficult to obtain kind of design. I mean, can we design that? That the water is evaporated from the water bodies by the heat of the sun, it accumulates into vapor, cloud, then there is rainfall. Think of it. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 15.14, he says, as I mentioned, I'm the fire of digestion in all the bodies, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. So as I was saying, that even our biology is made in a certain way that there is no external intervention that is needed. But can I just say that I am, existing just by myself? No, I have been made in a certain way that I can function and operate without the operator continuously intervening. So perfect management, even in the corporate world, means where there is minimal management or there is no management. Right? So it's not a proof that there is no intelligence, but rather a proof that there is perfect intelligence. Now, this was the function of the material world. Apart from function, what comes as the next most important thing is the purpose. Okay? Now, if I take this phone, and if I say that, cook me a dessert. Of course, the phone will not be able to cook me a dessert. And then I throw the phone saying, it's not giving me the purpose, it's not fulfilling its purpose. But was the purpose of the phone to cook the dessert? It was not. The purpose was communication, maybe to record a video. So many times what happens is we try to superimpose or concoct certain purposes on things which are not meant to do that. And then we say that, that's bad design, this thing is not working properly. Okay? So there is some amount of introspection that is needed here. I'll give you 3 examples of design and purpose. Look at a very symbiotic factory setup in nature. The human body or the animal bodies, we give out carbon dioxide as a waste product. The plants pick that up as their raw material, they manufacture oxygen, and that oxygen is waste product for them, which we again use. And then again we give out the waste product of carbon dioxide. So there is a cyclical symbiotic process, and this is a dream of industries, where the raw material of one industry is actually the waste product of another industry, so there is just profit, there is no expenditure. Is it possible to create an industry setup like that? No. But in nature, you see this exists. God has created that. So it is the example of a majestic design. The next example is the example of a jail. Okay? So in a jail, the inmates are given food, they are given clothing, they are given medical facilities, but it is still a place of suffering. So will someone say that, the jail is not designed properly? No, the jail has been designed in a way that it is going to reform its inmates, it is going to punish the ones who need that punishment and reform them, and at the same time provide them basic necessities. That is the purpose of the jail. The third example of a hospital. A hospital is not a place where we would like to go and settle down in, right? But a hospital provides you a certain, it provides you bed, it provides you certain amenities, it gives you food, it gives you also certain types of clothes, also entertainment in some cases, right? So it gives you certain facilities, but it is still a place of suffering. Because the purpose of the hospital is to get cured. It is not a place to settle down. Think of it from a material world perspective. Okay? The hospital and the jail are designed in certain ways because they have certain purpose. These are institutions designed for a certain purpose. And this actually proves not a bad design, but the fact that there is an amazing designer who has designed these things for a specific purpose. So the purpose of this material world is to reform and heal us. And in parallel to that, provide basic necessities which are needed for us, which are in our quota. And if we accept that, if we live in that consciousness, that is going to keep us happy, that is going to keep us fulfilled. Okay? So that was the second point. So first point we discussed was, what was the first point?
Absolute, complete absolute truth.
Yes. Who is the complete absolute truth? The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Absolute Truth. Number 2 we discussed was that this material world is actually complete. We are not the ones to play the victim card and say that the world doesn't have this, the world doesn't have it, come on. We need to introspect. Okay? Number 3 was that with the human form is complete. Okay? So why the human form is complete? I mean, we can always talk about human rights, basic dignities not being there for humans, etc. I mean, that's good, of course. That needs to be provided. But what is the goal of the human form? The eating, sleeping, mating and defending, as we see in the Bhagavad Gita, that is also something that has been given to animals, right? Humans just perform it a little sophisticatedly, that's all, right? But is that the goal of the human form? The goal of the human form is very exclusive. It is the right to enlightenment, the right to realize and to live according to that purpose. Not only to realize, but to live according to that purpose. So our consciousness as humans is developed in a certain way to perceive a reality which is beyond these 4 things of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So how do we attain completeness with this human form? By being a part of Krishna, not apart from Krishna. Being a part of Krishna, not apart from Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Krishna says, Mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sasthan indriyani prakriti sthani kashyati. Means all living beings are my eternal fragmental parts. So, as long as we are playing our part in Krishna's plan, in his service, we will be happy. If we are a part of Krishna, we are happy. If we are apart from Krishna, we are not happy. So we are complete because, of course, we are souls, we are emanated from Krishna, we are complete. But Krishna is also complete. But our completeness is different from the level of completeness of Krishna. It is called dependent completeness. Remember the example of the numbers that we discussed in the first point? That the set of natural numbers is infinite. The set of odd numbers, which is a subset of this larger set, is also infinite, but there is a level of difference of infinity. Similarly, there is a level of difference in the completeness between our being complete, us being complete, and Krishna being complete. We are dependent complete. Prabhupada in this purport gives the example of a hand. So he says that the hand is fully functional and complete. When the hand is attached to the body. So the hand is complete, it fulfills its purpose when it's attached to the body. Now if you cut the hand and put it away from the body, it's just a mere accessory, it cannot do anything. So the hand is complete, the body is complete, but the hand is a part of the body. So only in that arrangement it can perform perfectly and achieve its complete potential. Okay? So we as human beings or material, or human beings in the material world, we seek completeness in two ways. One, we can seek it materially or we can seek it spiritually. So materially, if we are trying to seek completeness, we say that, give me this thing, I will be complete. Or give me this person, I will be complete. But think of it, if I am incomplete, this thing is incomplete, the person is incomplete, how can two incomplete people or three incomplete people or five incomplete things make each other complete? They cannot. Because everybody is lacking something until and unless they realize their full purpose. And if they realize their full purpose, they'll be complete on their own. And complete on their own means complete with Krishna on their own, okay? So, how do we get this completeness? How do we get this completeness? Because we can never get this completeness from sense gratification. We saw the example of, what the child wants, what the adult wants as things, but it's not going to make us complete. So it's a false way to try to achieve completeness. That's why it is frustrating after a certain time. If you think I have this big house, it is going to make me complete. Of course, you can work towards it. But if you don't fulfill the purpose of that house, then you will not feel complete after a certain point. I mean, you can have a mansion. I'm not saying that you are not supposed to have a mansion. If you can, if it is your quota, you can and you use it for the right purpose, in the right consciousness, if that is meant for you, if that is part of your designated quota, then you will feel complete. If it is not, you will not feel complete. Even if you do that, even if you have 10 mansions, you will not feel complete. So completeness comes when we engage everything in the service of the Lord. Because the ultimate goal is connecting to that complete whole. Okay? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Purnam. When we realize our connection with Him, build that consciousness in our lives, then we are complete. So we cannot enjoy without Krishna. We like to enjoy, right? We all like to enjoy. But our enjoyment, which is devoid of Krishna, is very superficial and temporary enjoyment. But when we connect, align our enjoyment with Krishna, then we are eternally happy. So the way to completeness is through devotional service, dovetailing it with the complete whole. Then we can be happy forever. And who is Krishna? Krishna is complete. Krishna has all the six opulences. In Krishna, all dualities, everything converge. It is not like, there is only beauty in Krishna. No, there is everything in Krishna. Everything that we can think of, we can not think of, we can comprehend, beyond our comprehension, beyond our mental faculties to even think of, everything is there in Krishna. So, what are we supposed to do? We are meant to serve and we are meant to surrender. Okay? So there is this beautiful cycle. Think of it this way, that you surrender, and in surrendering you serve, and once you surrender you serve, and once you serve you surrender. So there is this beautiful cycle. Let us be a part of this cycle where devotional service is a goal of our life. Devotional service to our spiritual master, to Lord Krishna, that is the goal of our life. And how can we do that if we have a consciousness of surrender? And how does a consciousness of surrender comes? When we realize that who is the ultimate, who is the supreme absolute truth. So with that realization, if we build a consciousness, then we are always surrendered and we are always in service. And when we are always in service, we are always surrendered. So that is the goal. Okay. Coming back to Ishopanishad, so basically there are 18 verses apart from this invocation mantra. So till the 14th verse, we see the Ishopanishad basically discusses about the supreme absolute truth, the aspects of God, the form of God. Who is this supreme absolute truth? What are his different aspects? What are his different attributes? Okay. So it keeps on building that anticipation about his qualities, his aspects. And then from 15th till 18th verse, we see that it is from the perspective of a devotee who is telling the Lord that, my Lord, I realize who you are, but I want to know you more. I want to reach you because you are my ultimate goal, and you know everything that is in me, everything that I have done, my past, presence, everything you know. So this is an act of surrender. So this last 4 verses basically teach us the consciousness of surrender, where the devotee basically pleads to that Lord that, my Lord, I want to see you now. I have heard enough about you. I want to see you. Can you reveal yourself to me? Or can you make me eligible, make me qualified so that I can see you beyond this layer, beyond this covering of effulgence that is on your body? So the devotee ultimately says that this is my goal, that I want to realize you and I want to offer you complete devotional service. So that is the summum bonum of everything. That ultimately it is devotional service to the spiritual master and to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please forgive me if there are any offenses. Are there any questions, any feedback?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, like you said that you offer yourself to Krishna, but we live in a very material world, as you also said. So, are they both? Can they both go hand in hand? Can you be devoted to Krishna, worship Krishna, but still expect things from life and still live in this material world, or is it one or the other?
Thank you, Mataji. That's a very nice question, but there is nothing material. We are not in a material world. This is also spiritual. Everything is spiritual. Imagine if something coming from Krishna, who is spirituality himself, how can the paths be material? I mean, it's a way of saying, but actually it is spiritual. We just need to develop that vision, that consciousness. So the moment you develop that consciousness, you will see that nothing is material. Even for example, you can think that your job is something material, but your job is not material. If you consider that, why am I doing my job? What is the purpose? Okay, very crude example. I'm going to get, from my salary, I'm going to donate towards the temple. I'm going to do something to propagate the purpose of spirituality. Then it is no longer material. So you are just changing the consciousness. That's what Prabhupada said. Add Krishna, everything else will be taken care of. Add Krishna to your consciousness. Your family, for example. You can think these are material relationships, okay, but then if that relationship is taking you closer to Krishna and you are helping that person go towards Krishna, if you have Krishna between you, then it is spiritual. Okay? For example, even when a very lofty example, but when the gopis even used to dress themselves up, for Krishna, I mean, they were not material, they are sages, right? But they were doing it for Krishna, so that I look beautiful for Krishna. It is not for me to look good, not for my ego. It is for Krishna. So if you do anything in that consciousness, then everything is spiritual. Like the example of the big mansion we are talking about. If you have a big mansion according to your capacity, and you host devotees there, you have a beautiful temple built in there, you use it in service with a pure consciousness, then that is no longer material. Any other questions? Or thoughts? Reflections? I have a question. So we spoke about the 6 opulences of God. Can somebody tell me which are the 6 opulences?
Beauty, wealth, fame, richness.
Fame, wealth, beauty, and
Renunciation.
renunciation. And which is the fifth one? Fifth one, anyone?
Strength
Strength. Okay, so these are the opulences of God.
and knowledge.
Oh, and knowledge, yeah, the sixth one. Six opulences of God. Which is the highest one? Which is the highest one? Can anybody tell that? Why? Why do you think so?
Is the hardest to attain.
Okay, anything to add to that? Beauty?
Yeah, because Krishna is all attractive.
But then he is all strong as well.
Yeah.
Renunciation can also be attractive. Knowledge can also be attractive. Okay?
Attractiveness comes from all the six opulences, right? That's why he's all attractive.
Yeah,
Not
if he was just beautiful, he wouldn't be so attractive. I mean, we have so many beautiful people, but they can become attractive through their intelligence also, through their beauty, through their strength, money, many things, right? So he is all attractive because he has all the opulences. So do we agree that renunciation is the most important opulence of God?
Yes.
Why? I still did not get the complete answer. Part of the answer I got.
Because he's complete and he doesn't need anything.
Okay? Because renunciation is complete and you don't need anything, okay?
Please explain what renunciation is.
Renunciation is basically detachment. Renunciation is detachment. So detachment is not necessary that you give everything and be detached. You can have everything and still stay detached. So it's a consciousness. But, okay, yeah.
Because other five opulences, other than renunciation, they get you more prone to be entrapped by your false ego and think that this actually belongs to you. But when you have the sixth one, then it actually detaches you from all other opulences. And in this way, all the opulences are put in the right place. And you understand how to use those opulences to serve Krishna. That's why renunciation is the highest.
Thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna. I think that basically completes the concept of which is the highest opulence. Think about it, please. Please reflect on it. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
I think Balaji may not be ready, so we can do some if somebody would like. I finished 10 minutes before, sorry. Sorry, finished 5 minutes early.
Hare
Bahu koti chandra dine varana udvara. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jai Krishna Pak Prabhu Crazy for the Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON founder Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananti Koti Vaishnava ki Jai. Namachaya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Friends go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Chananda Sri Shadara Shiva Sri Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Giri Govardhana ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Sri Navadvip Dham ki Jai. Sri Dwarka Dham ki Jai. Sri Kuruna Nitai Gaurachandra ki Jai. Amsterdam Sunday Love Feast ki Jai. Gaura Premanande. Oh glory to the Son. Oh glory to the Son. Oh glory to the Son. Oh, glory to Lord Jesus, Sri Sri Guru. Jai Sri Krishna. Namaste, Narasimhaya. Namaste, Narasimhaya. Namaste, Narasimhaya. Namaste, Radha
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for coming today to this Amsterdam Sunday feast. Very much thank you to all the senior devotees here. Haribol. Haribol. Also, I would like to thank our lecturer today, Rita Prabhu. Please give him a big Haribol. Haribol. The cooks of today, Vivek Prabhu and team. Haribol. Haribol. And the flowers were done by Hema Kundra Mataji and Trivedi Mataji. So big Haribol. So, upcoming week, Madhava Prabhu and friends will come for a Kirtan tour in Holland. The 1st of August, he will be at the home program in Amsterdam. It doesn't say where exactly, but those details will be given later this week. The 2nd of August, he will be at the Divine Place in Rotterdam. The 3rd of August in the Vondelpark, probably close to the Picasso statue, I think. And the 4th of August, he will be here in the temple. We have a little bit of temple program. He will tell a little bit about Kirtan and there will be a lot of singing.
Which day is that?
Sorry?
Which day is that?
That's a Sunday. So during the Sunday, the regular Sunday feast, he will be here. Info and reservations, if necessary. I mean, for the temple it's not, but maybe for the other programs it is. kirtanrotterdam@gmail.com. But this information will also be in our WhatsApp group. If you are not part of this group, please come to me and I will add you in that group. So that is for upcoming week. Then later in August we have a lot of other events. I think I have to confirm this date, but I think it was the 2nd of August. There will be a Harinam during the Gay Pride in Rotterdam. So we will just mingle with the people that are there for the boat parade, singing Hare Krishna. The 17th of August there is Harinam in Helmond, organized by the group Harinam Sankirtan.nl. And then the 19th of August we will celebrate Balaram Purnima, the appearance day of Lord Balaram. It's on a Monday, we have a program in the evening. And then afterwards there's Janmashtami. We have 3 Janmashtami festivals this year. First on Saturday 24 in Eindhoven. Then on the day itself, it is the 26th on Monday, here in the temple. So we have the whole day program with Kirtan and reading from Krishna book and probably a few other things. And we will stop really at 12 o'clock in the evening when we will have a feast of the 108 offerings down to Krishna. And then the day after is the Srila Prabhupada's Appearance Day. This year we also want to try to do that the whole day program. So the details will be we will send to you later, but please keep it already in mind. And then Saturday 31st of August is the Janmashtami, the cultural Janmashtami festival in Oranjekerk, close by. There's a lot to do then. Afterwards, on the 11th of September, we have Radhashtami, and we will end the whole cyclus of August and September with Vaman Vadashi on 15th of September. So if you have any questions about these festivals, please keep an eye on our newsletter or WhatsApp group, or come either to me, or Nilanda Prabhu, or Toshi Krishna Prabhu, or Srinivas Prabhu. He knows everything, so please, I'll inform with him. So is there anyone here for the first time? Please raise your hands. So we give our first time visitors a small token of appreciation. Please raise your hand if you are for the first time here. So thank you so much for coming. We have every Sunday a Sunday feast, and every Tuesday a program, a little bit lighter program with a dinner. So you are very much invited for that. Please keep up to date with our newsletter, and then you will be informed of everything which is going on in ISKCON Amsterdam. So we will end the announcements here. Please, this one in the back. So, thank you so much. If you would like to consider some kind of donation to this temple, because we really run on donations, there's a possibility in the back. We accept PIN and cash. So with your help, we can run this temple in a better way. And also, we are really looking for a better building than we are now in, because you see, this is not really. It is nice that we can serve Kaunitai over here, but we would like to have a better building where we have enough space to receive you all, not in this heat and plant, where there's enough parking space, can name it. So what that needs funds, so if you would like to help in any way, it's really very much appreciated. Thank you so much. We will continue with the prasadam. So we'll make two lines. The Prabhuji is over here, 2 lines. The Mataji is the ladies over here. So please rearrange.
Hey, dus was de gast hier, hè? Ja, ik zeg al, ik heb een beetje haast vanwege mijn fysieke gesteldheid. Wat zeg je? Nou, fysieke gesteldheid is een beetje voordeel. Dat toegeleid. Precies.